giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What's going on, everybody? It is Monday night again. It is December 4th, 2023. It is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we are live in the Drive-In Speaker Box Studios. This is the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
And for the next hour, we are going to be talking to you about movies. We saw movies. We're thinking about movies. We're discussing movies. We're predicting movies. We're critiquing movies. We're what else are we doing with movies?
That's a lot of stuff with movies.
It's a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's December. You know, it's holiday season. It's when all the big holiday movies are supposed to come out. What's wrong with this year? Why
Strike.
I know, but did you think they'd have a few in the chamber to give us for Christmas?
Yeah.
Like, dang, there's like no holiday movies this year. It's weird, man. Like, it's weird, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what's coming out this week. We're going to talk about last week.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, you saw a movie this weekend. What was it?
I watched the Gojira -1.
-1.
Yeah.
1 + 1 - 1. You guys remember that?
It says something about it in the Japanese trailer. In the Japanese, it says something about -1. I'll have to go look and see.
Does it
what
explain the -1?
I don't think it's like 2 sentences.
Okay, it's just like in the subtitles. It's like, oh, DC's -1.
Yeah, I'm still
I don't know why
convinced.
subtitles talk like that.
I'm still convinced that it's just because it sounds cool.
I'm 100% in agreement with that. So, but anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about what's coming out in theaters this weekend. But I told you so for those of you that maybe just be listening to the online podcast via Spotify or wherever it is you get podcasts, or maybe you're watching on Facebook right now, or maybe you're watching on YouTube right now, what you can do. But on Twitch, we do the pre-show. So if you follow us on Twitch or even subscribe on Twitch, which is even better, we were talking. We were rapping, talking about stuff, and I said that we had a surprise. And Jake was like, what? A surprise? And I said, I'm going to save it.
I don't recall reacting like that.
That's exactly how you went. What surprise? Kenny. And the surprise is one of our viewers was in town the other day, driving through town, and brought us a gift box of wrapped gifts for us to open on the air.
Are they VHS tapes?
I don't know. But there's a box of them under the table here, and I feel like we can advent calendar some of these, like we did last year with the with the Gremlins advent calendar, which I need to go find another advent calendar, because shouldn't we start that by now? Like, I mean, we did it like every week. We did like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it depends on how many days of Christmas there are, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it was like the whole month, wasn't it? When we did the Gremlins
yeah,
one?
it's pretty much, yeah.
And how many was it? Like the Christmas Story one we did had a bunch. There's an advent calendar at Sam's Club that's all cocktails. We could do that one. We could open that one up and drink them. But I thought we could just start. You want to just start the show with that, or we want to end the show with that?
Let's open it up like that.
Open it up with some gifts.
Yeah.
Opening that's like an open.
That way, if it's something rad.
Yeah.
A cool talking point.
Okay, this one says Jake.
Oh, dang.
On it, and this one's a wrapped one that says Bo on it. I'm gonna put the box down.
Look at this.
Okay, we got. Do we want to take turns? We want to open together and then share, and like 3, 2, 1, or what do you? You go first. You go first.
All right, sure.
Yeah. And I like mine was wrapped with electrical tape. Like, is there anthrax in this? Like, generally when you open gifts from fans.
That would be so cool.
I don't know. That could be dangerous. What'd you get? Hell yeah, you
Your
did.
favorite Schwarzenegger
We were just
movie.
talking about this a couple episodes ago.
We were. I think that's why it ended up in my hand right
a
now.
VHS cassette copy of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Last Action Hero.
Wow.
Like what's the quality here? Like, what are we looking at here? This doesn't look like it's been, I mean, this is pretty crispy. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of like VHS wear in it. That's a
Yeah,
good.
and it was a rental copy even.
That's good. That's okay.
Because it has the tape on the box and you got the barcode on here. I'm gonna have to get my my VCR out. I was just talking about getting my VCR out
You're gonna watch it on
the other day.
VHS. That would actually be
Wow.
a pretty rad way to watch it. Okay, what do I have? God, a VHS cassette copy of the Buttercream Gang.
What the?
How
like,
did you even
the two most perfect things to open up with the
Buttercream
with
Gang?
how much each of us likes the two of these.
Oh, geez, the Buttercream Gang.
Are you gonna watch it now that you have a copy?
Oops! I think it broke. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Buttercream Gang is good.
If this video cassette fails to work properly upon first viewing, please call the toll-free number above.
Well, Jan has a good point. We didn't mind the microphones while like slashing the paper open.
Well, no, that was intentional. It's called ASMR. Check it out.
ASMR is supposed to be pleasurable. I'm sure it was.
To someone, it probably is. I'm going to call this Buttercream Gang hotline, actually. So 1-800-347-2833. I'm going to call it. And let's see.
There's no way
Call.
that's still a functioning
I know,
number.
we're going to find out. Let's check it out. All right, here we go.
This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
Oh, shit.
We have a special promotion today for select callers.
Okay.
Are you or someone in your household 50 years of age or older?
Oh, bummer.
Press 1 for yes if you or someone in your household is 50
That's
years
one of those
age or
scam
older.
things, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, press pound.
Pressing
Again.
pound.
Don't do that.
Hang on. I'm going to find out.
Calling the Medical Alert Center. This is Jessica on a recorded line. Can you hear me okay?
Hi, Jessica. I can hear you okay, but I think I called the wrong number. I was calling a phone number that I got off of a VHS cassette copy of the Buttercream Gang, and it then she hung up on me.
Yeah, there's no way that was a real person.
Well, okay. Unfortunately, the helpline. I mean, I still feel like it's accurately targeted, though, because, I don't think anybody that would have a VHS cassette copy of the Buttercream Gang would probably be under the age of 50. So, I don't know. There you have it. So
I'll let you use my VCR so you can watch it.
Okay. Well, thank you for those gifts. We will continue to explore those as the month progresses.
Good
So-
kids, small town fun, and unconditional love for a struggling friend.
Well, and scam lines on the front sticker of the VHS. So, All right. So let's talk about Mark Landry on YouTube says Speakerbox / Crank Yankers crossover episode. Heck yeah, I could do that all day. Probably get more viewers that way. All right, so let's talk about the news. Let's get caught up on what happened in the past week. Did you see Jake? Put the Buttercream Gang down. Pay attention.
But it has
I
like
know
a
what you're-
parent's guide for quizzing your kids on the back of it.
On how to not touch themselves and worship Jesus or something. Is that's the
important.
quiz?
That's important.
Did you see? There was a lot of trailers that dropped this week. There was the Furiosa trailer that happened.
Yeah,
Did you-
I intentionally avoided some of them because I just don't care, and then I watched one or two of the others. So I did not see the Furiosa trailer, but I saw many things about the Furiosa.
I watched the Furiosa trailer. I do every time I see a George Miller trailer, I get kind of turned off by his hubris that he's only made like a handful of movies.
It's
and
not him doing this one though, is it?
He's like an executive producer.
Yeah, but
or,
he's not the director. on
let
it.
me see. I've got it pulled up. Yeah, he's not he's just a producer, on this one. But it always is like, from the creative, insane, and genius mind of George Miller. And it's like, dude, you were also the insane and genius mind of Happy Feet. So, like, dude, like, you're not that edgy, babe pig in the city, not that edgy, my guy. Just we get it, right? You got lucky on Mad Max, and you've been coasting that train for a long time. Anyway, the trailer looks exactly like Fury Road.
See, I do not like Fury Road.
Hot take.
But that's because I like Mad Max.
Right. Well, and this is Furiosa : a Mad Max adventure, and there's no Mad Max.
Yeah.
Why do we even call it that now? Like,
see, the majority of all people I know that like Fury Road have never watched any of the Mad Max movies.
This is something I've also experienced. Yeah.
Like that's their first brush with Mad Max.
And I'm not going to say I did not like Fury Road. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a return to a genre we haven't seen. It's, a feature-length chase scene, and that was kind of neat. But the amount of I thought was a little unwarranted.
Yeah, Max sucked in that movie too. Mad Max was super lame, which was a bummer. And then the coolest people in the entire movie were the old biker ladies out in the desert.
Oh, yeah, they were cool.
And they showed up for like 3 minutes and just all got murked out so hard. They're like, oh, legendary desert warrior biker ladies. And they're all like chicks in their 50s that just like shoot people. And you're like, yeah, these ladies kick
Where's
ass.
more of this?
And then they just kill them all on the truck. They're like, yeah, they're dead or whatever. So I hope you like the little taste of awesome you could have had.
Well, I think one of the things that always impressed me about the original Mad Max films is, there wasn't any CGI. You're watching a lot of these crazy stunts. And granted, Fury Road did have its fair share of like very practical effects and stunts, but then this one, the trailer for the new one looks like it's even more CGI and even more CGI, and to a point where it's like, okay, well, now the fun of watching these is kind of lost. There is something to be said about practical stunts and practical effects, and some of these movies were vehicles for those, and no pun intended on the vehicle side, but sometimes you want to see that. But I don't know. It looks like the last one. Doesn't look like anything new. It's guys with guitars and flames, and people are gonna go, "That's fucking rad, dude," and I'm sure it will look pretty freaking rad.
Well, and that was the thing, is like the story's supposed to be like Furiosa's original brush with Immortan Joe, and it's like, so is he going to be the same that he was in Mad Max, or is he the same that he was in Fury Road? Because the de-aging of Max, or how this works in Max's timeline, is probably going to get more confusing.
George Miller said he didn't want to do any de-aging because he feels like the technology's not quite there
Well,
yet.
but I'm saying from Thunderdome to Fury Road, because Mad Max had the gray in his hair. That's why all the kids were like, oh, the pilot, but then you get Fury Road, and it's like, well, where does it take place?
I don't think anybody's giving a shit about that. Yeah. Well, no one that's making these things. You're like, no one's gonna care. It's got a monster truck with a spike on it and a dude in a cod piece playing a guitar. They're gonna love it. And they're right, unfortunately. So it's just like a badass lady with a robot arm kicking ass. Gonna make $1 million or billions of dollars, I guess, at this point. $1 million ain't shit.
The one thing I liked about Fury Road is that it spawned the Mad Max video game, which is very good. I like that game a lot.
I have not played that game, but I have heard that it's pretty fun as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So there's that trailer. Also, speaking of post-apocalyptic dystopian futures, did you see the trailer for the Fallout TV show?
Just a little bit here and there. I don't care for the Fallout games, so that was another one that I saw a little bit of, but I'm not invested in Fallout at all, so it didn't really matter to me.
So I've also not really played the Fallout games. I played one of the Fallout, like the Shelter games. It was like the sim building game.
Old.
That one's kind of fun. I played that for a little while.
Oh, the new one, the 2D.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get lost in 3D environments too much, so I prefer a 2D environment.
I thought you were talking old original Fallout, pre-Fallout 3, where it was the
isometric.
The top down.
I played some of that once upon a time. But I'm not like super in on the lore. I know it's like bombs go off and everything sucks, so you're surviving. Right?
Yeah, it changes with like every game, I think, basically.
But the trailer looked pretty cool, and it's got Walter Goggins in it, who I always love to see. And you know, it looks like it could be kind of interesting. It's got the from the producers, I want to say, of The Boys, and it's Amazon Studios, and they're not afraid to throw all the money in the world at things because they have it, especially after this Black Friday season. So you know they've got money. But yeah, it was interesting. And then there was a Sonic 3 teaser that came out that showed Shadow.
Yeah, I saw
some
an
more.
image from it, but I didn't see that there was a teaser that came out.
And they are confirming a release date towards the end of 2024. So it will be out in 2024. Faux show. Also, did you hear this? This makes no sense to me, but The Black Phone is getting a sequel.
Well, I didn't watch that movie, but so I don't know how a sequel for it works or doesn't work.
Well, the bad guy doesn't make it out so well, you know. There's some serious closure to that movie, sort of. And but I guess Ethan Hawke is going to reprise his role. Maybe it's going to be a prequel. I don't know. I don't think that's necessary. I think The Black Phone existed as a very great piece of, like, horror caps. What's the word I'm looking for? Contextualized horror that doesn't need to have an expanded universe. It was just fine. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't like terrible. It was just, this is a competent horror movie. Thank you. And yeah, I guess because it made money, we got to get another one.
You know what, too? Eli Roth announced on his Instagram or something like that Thanksgiving is already greenlit for a sequel. So there's going to be a sequel to Thanksgiving in 2025.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, but I did listen to a little interview with him, and he said that they're going to take a year off to really focus on the script because he does not want to just, quote, churn out something that they don't believe in, even though, you know, whatever. I don't believe that for a second. But they want to take some time and make it a competent sequel. So we'll see.
Well, I got more on that in a second. But before we get too far away from the trailers and stuff, the Godzilla X Kong New Empire or whatever trailer came out. Did you see that one?
Godzilla?
With the pink.
Did anybody explain, like, why is it pink? Is it just new electricity, or is it just because Barbie's cool right now? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Barbenheimer crossover.
Yeah.
It's pink nuke energy.
Barbenzilla.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we figured it out. It's probably because of the whooping he took in the last movie, and Godzilla always like heals and becomes something more. You know, Shin Godzilla more than the others because he would take damage and be like, okay, instant heal and evolve and fix it. But regular Godzilla changes along with it, I guess, because the Godzilla in the legendary films grew bigger and was resting in that cave after the bug fight. You know, and then I'm assuming after the Kong fight because it shows Zilla in the in like the ice or whatever, because it was the bugs and then Ghidorah and then going in fighting Kong and now fighting orangutan Kong. Like, is the center of the earth thing they found in the last movie? Is it just Primal Rage?
Probably. Yeah.
It seems...
Atari's arcade smash hit, Primal Rage, and it's just going to be Kong. Just, there's going to be the one that farts and the one that hypnotizes you.
Yeah, as long as they bring in Armadon. That's my character.
Vertigo was.
Oh, Vertigo's a good one, yeah, because you got the snake neck.
So basically, I played Primal Rage when I was like a child, and then I was like, oh yeah, Vertigo's my dude. And then Soul Calibur came out, and I go, well, you know, Voldo's basically like human Vertigo. Like, I always play those characters. That's the weirdo ones.
The weird snaky reach ones.
Yeah, and then Dosleem was my dude in Street Fighter. Even though I always got my ass beat, but because I'm not very good at video games, but I always like wanted to play the weird characters.
Oh, dude, I can mess people up in Primal Rage, for sure. I had the toys too.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. The Armadon toy was cool because he flicked his tail and like launched spikes.
So we're gonna have to have a take Jake to Arcadia Retrocade here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and have people come up and try and beat your ass at Primal Rage.
So used to when Primal Rage sat at the barcade that was downtown here.
Oh yeah, that was. I think what was it called? Oh, Dixon Street Social Club.
Yeah. I used to sit there and rule at Primal Rage.
That's
there.
probably because Player 2's buttons didn't all work.
Oh,
and
the
you're just
buttons
like-
never worked on either side.
And you're just like, yeah, I'm so good at Primal Rage.
No, I would flip the side when people complain and still whoop them.
Okay.
Yeah, I could
Big
beat the
words.
I could beat the game solo.
I'll beat you with one hand, dude. I don't even have to use block.
Yeah. Who uses block in 2D fighters? Lame. But you know what? Talking things like that, unnecessary movies being made. Did you see this thing with Bob Iger where he talked with the New York Times about
What do you do this time?
Disney and their sequels and reboot-quels and their live action CGI remake things? He said, I think I don't want to apologize for sequels. Some have done exceptionally well, and they're good films. He said, but there has to be a reason to make it beyond commerce. You're full of shit,
Bullshit,
Bob Iger.
Bob
That's the
Iger.
only reason you're doing it, you butthole.
All you guys do.
And then immediately he goes, you have to have a good story, and we have made too many.
We've made too many good stories. Is that what he just tried to admit?
Yeah, something like that. But he's like, yeah, I'm not going to apologize for sequels, but we have made too many. But it's not for the money. Like, we got to have good stories. It's like, you're full of it. You're so full of it. And then he said,
What a butthole.
at the end of his quote, he said, that doesn't mean we're not going to continue to make them.
Yeah.
So-
doesn't mean we're not going to continue to try and just make this money machine go. Brrr.
Yeah.
But-
He goes, sorry, not sorry about being sorry. Screw you.
So he basically.
It's not for the money, it's for the story. But
And-
it's for the money. We're going to keep doing it.
So he's blaming everyone else on the financial failure. He's like, we're making these good movies, and if they don't make money, it's because it's your fault. But they should all make money because we're only making good movies here.
His entire quote there, it just reminded me of Rick James in the Chappelle Show, where he's like, you think I'm just some kind of person that walk in someone's house and just start rubbing muddy shoes all over the couch? What do you think I am? I think I got more sense than that. Yeah, I remember going to Eddie's house and rubbing my feet on his couch. Yeah, like that's exactly what that sounded like to me. He's like, what? Too many sequels? I mean, I'm not sorry about it. Some of them are pretty good. I've made money, but it's not about the money. It's about the stories. But we're going to keep making them.
We're going to keep making that
We're going
money.
to keep making them. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, and then things like that. Something that was kind of insane is that sequels, unnecessary sequels. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is already working on the third movie in that series.
Oh my God.
So two are ago. We're what, a week or two out from the first Rebel Moon.
And it's not even out.
It's due anytime. It's not even out, and they're already working on the third one. So there's two movies and a series that are already ago.
I don't
And
understand.
they're working on a third movie.
Because there have been things that are way better that have gone into theaters and have been way better that didn't get greenlit sequels after we already were like, hey, that was cool. Can we get some more of that? And they go,
Yeah. Think about that. Like, they had to fight to get Lord of the Rings, where they would film the three of them at once. Like, dude, this is the only way to do it. We got to do all three at once.
Everybody's
It's
like, I
going
don't
to
know
work
about
out way
that
better.
now.
And the studio was like, and like they finally found a studio that was like, yeah, okay, we can see. You got a good point. Okay, we'll give it a shot and see how it works. And they had no faith in it, right? And it turned out it worked because it was amazing. And now Netflix is just like, oh, you want to make another movie, even though the first two movies in the series that we've already made haven't even been released yet?
Go
Screw
for it.
Yeah, go for it. Which is the most ridiculous thing. They have 4 projects on the same IP.
you can only
without-
give blank checks like that to Adam Sandler, Netflix.
but without a single one being released. They're like, well, that one zombie movie did pretty good. And then the follow-up zombie movie, like, people talked about it for like 2 days before it came out. So, you know, Zack Snyder can have all the money. So, that's stupid. And then talking Disney stuff, too, there with their ridiculous series, and they're continuing to make dumb nonsense. Marvels, man.
Oh, well, you know, they have announced it this week that
They're not going to report that money anymore.
Nope. After 4 weeks in the box office, which is crazy because a lot of these Marvel movies, they keep reporting them for like 8 weeks, you know, but that's only if they're doing well because they want to be able to go, still the number 5 movie in America after 19 weeks. But the Marvels, and they're like, yeah, we're going to just stop reporting this.
I do like how Disney was like, we're done. We're not even going to tell you. It's embarrassing for us to let you know how much money this thing is not making because not only has it had the lowest MCU opening
number, it's not even in the top 10, and it was its 4th week.
Yeah, it had the lowest opening. It had the highest second week drop off of all of them, and it's the lowest grossing of all of them. It's made less money than any other Marvel movie, period. And the lowest one to this point was The Incredible Hulk in 2008, which had actually made $264 million with not accounting for inflation. That was $264,2008. Like, so it made $260 million in 2008. That's not bad. That movie did pretty good from the sounds of it. I don't know how much it cost, but it probably wasn't that much at that time. And this movie hasn't even touched it, and they got like 150 some odd million to go before they even begin to think about turning a profit.
Wow.
Yeah. So Disney was like, nope, we're just not even gonna talk about it anymore.
Disney embarrassed, so embarrassed, as they should be. What blows my mind is like, you know, they're always talking about like, well, it just didn't have enough, executive oversight, and it's like, you guys aren't paying attention to anything. Like, we're not the biggest geniuses in the world, but we saw that coming from miles away, that movie wasn't going to make money.
Here's a character from a TV show that not a lot of people know or care about. Here's a character that everyone let you know that they don't care about, and here's another character that no one watched, so no one cares. Let's put the three of them together with an untested director and a story that's just gonna be hot horseshit. So
yep,
yeah,
and it didn't make money. What the heck?
Yeah, an actress no one likes playing a character no one cares about, 2 unknown characters, and a director that's never directed.
Here's
did it.
$300 million.
$350 million. You did it, Disney. You successfully threw away money.
Good job. Good jobbies. Well, yeah. Do you have any other news bits there?
Yeah, just a couple of things. It was the first ever, which was hard to believe, first ever Rocky Day in Philadelphia.
Was that where that clip on like TikTok or Instagram where the kid was like reciting the Rocky thing to Sylvester Stallone?
Maybe. I hope he was Clubber Lang. Hey, Balboa. Hey, talking to you. Or he's like, hey, woman, how would you like to know what it's like to be with a real man?
I don't know if that's as appropriately aged as...
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing, is that Clubber was being abrasive and trying to get Rocky to get back into boxing because Rocky was retired. He was done. He was over it. He'd made his millions and him and Adrian were happy. But then Clubber Lang drags him back in because he goes, hey, woman, what you want to know what it's like to be with a real man? So I hope that's what that kid yelled at him.
I visited the Rocky Steps in Philly. Yeah, I went up there. Did the statue.
That'd be the one thing I have to do. I'd be that person.
I was that person. You know, there was a whole bunch of other people being that person too.
Yeah, you have to.
I think there's a lot of people that have never heard of or seen Rocky that they know that like I've got to go up these steps and go and
Dude,
TikTok.
I'd get the whole town of Philly behind me, just like Rocky, running to the top of the steps. Yeah. And then the only other thing is that not exactly movie related, but I will make it that way. Kiss had their final concert ever
in New York
this weekend at Madison Square Garden, closing it out at home. And then during that concert, and released on their YouTube after, is that they're done touring, but Kiss isn't.
Well, and so I was really confused. You sent me this video, and I watched this video. And so Velvet Santa says, I call BS on Kiss. I call BS on your BS on Kiss because they're too old and they know it. But they still want money. I mean, Kiss the band. And then so in this video, like Paul and Gene, or I think it was Paul, he says, the band's not ours anymore. It's y'all's, and it has been for a long time. And we they got was it ILM, Industrial Light and Magic?
I don't know, somebody.
I think it was Industrial Light and Magic to come in, and they pulled out all the stops and did the
scans and mocap and
all the mocap of a concert. And they're going to have like these 3D.
Kiss is now Hatsune Miku.
There you go.
Yeah. So Kitsune Miku. So yeah, Kiss had themselves scanned, turned into holographic avatars. But the thing is about movies is that in that video on their YouTube and stuff that you can go and watch, their avatars for the concert are the exact character models with the same powers and like instruments and stuff floating around that they have in the Kiss Meets Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah.
Because when they're like, yeah, play your music and open a portal, and like they're like superheroes with their music in Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Yep,
right there.
Got it on a little TV.
So they even have it where the Catman is playing his stuff and everything like that, and the Space Ace can float through space, and the Demon has his wings
and fire.
Yeah, and the Star Child probably shoots like sex glares out of his eyeball. Yeah. But it's the exact same animations and avatars from the Scooby-Doo Meets Kiss movie. So if you ever have a chance to watch that one,
I mean, that kind of all goes back to Psycho Circus.
Yeah, dude, I played the shit out of the Psycho Circus video game. Because you could have all the Kiss weapons and go through and just like kill all those dudes. Psycho Circus rules.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I never got to see the Psycho Circus tour because I never came close enough here. But that was one of the only tours that they had in a long time that they didn't do all the same old gags. It was all new stuff. But so I'm really confused about this because is this going to be like a movie that you go watch, or is this going to be like a concert that you go watch a movie at that like has pyrotechnics and other stuff? Like I'm very confused.
I feel like it's gonna be Hatsune Miku. It's gonna be the holograms.
Explain for the people that don't know who Hatsune Miku is.
You know that thing in the news a couple years ago with the Tupac hologram?
Mm-hmm.
Hatsune Miku is a anime girl brought to life on stage, moving around in the three-dimensional space
with that lighting technology.
Yeah, that people go to concerts to see. Apparently, it's like a really big thing in Japan and Korea to have these like holographic character concerts, and they'll have real dancers come out and join them and stuff like that, and everyone's choreographed to the point where they don't walk through the holograms and things like that. But so Kiss will still be there. I just thought it was super interesting that they saw themselves in that like Scooby-Doo movie, and they're like,
that's it.
There it is, right there.
That's our forever us's.
I do hate that it's not Peter Criss and Ace Frehley.
That is a bummer.
I don't have anything against Tommy Thayer, but he's not.
But
he's not Ace.
Yeah, and I guess the likenesses of their face is what's in these characters, but
immortalized
forever. Even though it's
not
supposed
real
to be
Kiss.
more about the characters and less about the individuals, I would assume. But you've motion captured their faces, so yeah, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're wearing all your Kiss garb here.
Yeah, man. Well, that's because. I knew that was like a thing. That was like the coolest part because I've seen all those clips from that Scooby-Doo movie. I'm like, man, that's sick. But then thinking of the idea of paying $200 to go watch a Kiss hologram at concert is not cool.
Unless it's like in the Vegas dome bubble thing or whatever. I feel like that would be sick. Like, and you're just surrounded by Kiss lasers and fireballs and...
Yeah, I mean, would you go see a Kiss hologram concert?
Like I said, at like the Las Vegas Bubble Dome or whatever what is that place called? Is it the Dome?
The Dome.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Dome. I mean, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Anyhow, I thought that was interesting.
So all right. Well, now that we got all the news out of the way, the Sphere. Okay. Out of the other news, let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this weekend, because we do have new releases this weekend. Nothing super.
See what Velvet Santa said. Station-style robots of Kiss.
Oh, dude, yeah. The
Station.
evil hologram us's. There are movies that are coming out this weekend. December 8th, 2023. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff coming out. The one that we're probably the most interested in that's coming out is The Boy and the Heron, the new Hayao Miyazaki film. Didn't get a lot of trailers. Of course, now that it's been out, there are trailers that have been popping up. But leading up to the film's release, they didn't have any trailers. But it has been out in other countries, not here. But that is coming out this weekend. I would assume it's going to be nationwide because there's not a whole lot of other stuff coming out. And I mean, it's freaking Miyazaki, and I think America knows now to don't sleep on Miyazaki.
Yeah, I hope that we get it in original audio and not
dubbed
only. Because when Howl's Moving Castle was released in the U.S., it was dubbed only.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Which it doesn't have the worst dub. Ghibli movies don't generally have the worst dubbings, but it's a whole different movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Anime is the same way. Like if you're watching an anime show, sometimes give it a try in the original language if you're used to doing the dub, because the show's different. It's just a different energy. But that's coming out in theaters this weekend. Also coming out in theaters. I don't know if you've seen the trailer to this one. Yeah, it's called Poor Things. It's about the story about this fantastic evolution of Bella Baxter, a young woman brought back to life by the brilliant and unorthodox scientist Dr. Godwin Baxter. And it is starring Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo, Willem Dafoe. You've got like some supporting cast that maybe you've seen, but that's like the big three here. It looks very quirky, very interesting. You've probably seen all the trailers. I think it's sci-fi, like it's kind of a weird alternate future or alternate timeline, not future but past. Looks pretty interesting, but it's going to be, I think, a limited release, as well as Dina just said in Twitch. She said in the comments that both Boy and the Heron and Poor Things are probably going to be limited release to less than 3,000 theaters nationwide, which means we'll probably get it here. Yeah. We get those limited and expanded releases a little before. We're actually kind of spoiled in this market to what we get.
Yeah, and anymore. It didn't used to be like that at all.
Yeah.
It used to be hard to find a theater that would show Fathom event or something special. There was like a tiny theater in Bella Vista I'd drive to, or like the theater in Siloam or something. Like there's like little out of the way tiny theaters that would get something. You'd have to drive an hour. They had 2 screens, and one of them was showing like the special release movie. But anymore, yeah, all you got to do is search the metropolitan area, and someone's going to have something. Like I said, I almost double featured a Hindi movie and a Japanese movie this weekend because I had access to them. They were there,
But also, there's another couple of indie movies that are coming out. There's one from Neon Pictures, which, again, you're probably not going to get it in your theater if you're not in a larger market, but it's called Eileen. It's from William Oldroyd. It's got Anne Hathaway and what's her name? The Thomasin Kinsey. Like, I'm not really a big fan of Thomasin Kinsey. She just has that. She's that actress. Oh, what was that movie that she was in? She has that weird kind of baby voice. I mean, she was good in Jojo Rabbit, but she was also in that. Oh, Old was the movie that the M. Night Shyamalan, where it was like, oh, spoilers, they're growing old. That the secret was it was radiation or some crap.
Was she the girl they kept hidden in Jojo Rabbit?
Yes. And she was also the main character in Last Night in Soho, which I also enjoyed that movie as well. Last Night in Soho was that Edgar Wright movie that came out about the murder mystery that also had Anya Taylor-Joy, which seems to be in everything right now, which I'm okay with because she's pretty cool. But I just don't really like Thomasin McKenzie's. Like, there's something about her voice that just is like irritating to me. But she's got an interesting look, and I thought Last Night in Soho was a pretty great movie in terms of like a murder mystery sort of deal. But anyway, it's called Eileen. It's coming out this weekend. It is about a A woman's friendship with a co-worker at a prison facility takes a sinister and psychological thriller turn. So there you go. Also coming out this weekend, that again, another indie film, Fast Charlie. It's got old Pierce Brosnan in it. It's and James Caan, like,
He still acts.
yeah, that caught me off guard. But it's based off of an old novel with Charlie Swift. He's a fixer with a problem, and the thug he's whacked is missing his head, and Charlie will only be paid if the body can be identified. Enter Marcy Kramer, the victim's ex-wife, and a woman with all the skills Charlie needs. And it just kind of like one of those, hard-boiled.
I thought James Caan had died. James Caan died last year. So
That's right, he did.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't making a lot of sense. Yeah, James Caan died last year. I thought.
Yeah, I was like, well, certainly, I guess he didn't, but I thought he was dead.
Yeah. How long's this one been?
I think it was filmed like last year or a year or two before. But yeah, it's coming out this weekend. It's from the director of Clear and Present Danger and Salt. So it's Philip Noyce. But I don't know if you like Pierce Brosnan. He's kind of got like a weird American accent in this that is kind of off-putting because just Pierce Brosnan, just be Pierce Brosnan. But he's playing like a kind of a Southern fixer. If you guys don't know what a fixer is, it's kind of like in the mob world or whatever. When you got a problem or there's a body that needs to be disposed of, or you got to you call a fixer and they take care of it. Anyway. It's called Swift Charlie, or Fast Charlie. It's Charlie Swift is the character name. So that's coming out, and that is pretty much the movie list. There's another movie called The Oath, probably not going to get anywhere. And The End We Start From, probably, you're not going to get that anywhere. So, yeah, there's your movie report. You want to talk about some Godzilla for him?
Yeah.
You want to tell him about Go Godzilla?
Dude, they should have had Kansas open it up. That'd be sick.
No.
Yeah, man. I went and caught Godzilla -1, which I did look it up here a moment ago at the top of the show there. The reason it's called -1 is because it takes place in post-war Japan and everyone has nothing. And the -1 is to indicate that people have less than nothing in their lives and they're trying to scrape it all together.
Okay.
Which is a fantastic setting for Godzilla, the way it's supposed to be post-war Japan rebuilding.
And then he just comes in and stomps on everything. It's like, God, give us a break.
The movie opens up introducing the human character that it's going to follow throughout, Shikishima. He is a kamikaze pilot that doesn't have it in him to be a kamikaze because he knows Japan's lost. There's no reason for him.
Why
him
kill
to die.
yourself in a plane?
So, seeing the horrors of war and realizing that he's setting off to his imminent death, he turns around, reports that his plane's damaged, and so it can't be flown to this island that was basically just a tiny airstrip for these plane repairs. And while on that island at nighttime, it's attacked and just everyone is taken out by Godzilla, who at this time is like T-Rex size, like
so he's just a
Jurassic Park T-Rex.
Yeah,
and then
just a little scamp.
Yeah, and so him and one other guy are the only survivors of this, and they're like, what did we see? What is it that we witnessed? The locals called it Gojira. Like, this is the most insane stuff. It kills everyone. It's pretty brutal. It's kind of sick.
That sounds fun.
But then post-war Japan, all the soldiers are headed home. The bombs are dropped. The war is over. Tokyo has been burned to the ground. And Shikishima's there he has to rebuild his life, finding out that all of his family and everyone he knows have perished in the Tokyo fires. Meanwhile, Godzilla gets nuked by the
that never helps.
the Pacific Island testings, at like
there, boom.
Yeah, the atolls and stuff like this. And so over a year or two, a couple of years go by, and Godzilla grows and becomes
Nuclear.
Godzilla. Yeah. And, of course, Shikishima, he encounters this woman who has a baby. They end up living with him. They're all three people without families. The girl was an orphan that was passed off onto this woman. She lost her family and friends. He's lost his family, and everyone from his little part of Tokyo that knows who he is realizes that he should not have come back from the war, because they knew he was a kamikaze pilot, and that he should not be someone that returned alive. But he develops this relationship with this woman and this child. He's part of this crew that's demining the waters around Japan, right?
Okay.
And enter Godzilla. And from that point, this movie is sick. It's classic Godzilla. You get the Toho Godzilla music. Yeah, you get that, and then like the
that one.
Like you just get all like the Godzilla music. You have people who don't know what this thing is. They're trying to fight him. It's late 40s, and Godzilla is just on the path to kill everyone, because he was like an angry creature that would come from the bottom of the ocean just to wreak havoc on an island once in a while, and the people were like, oh yeah, that's Godzilla. You don't mess with Godzilla. But now it's like Godzilla's hundreds of feet tall and is there to destroy everything, and it's so much fun. It is like, it's a great monster flick. It's a good Godzilla movie. Godzilla is a villain.
Yeah, like somewhere along the way, everybody's like, no, he's such a good guy here to save the planet.
Yeah, it's because of the sequels and the cartoon with Godzuki and all that stuff. But
Godzuki.
They try to kill Godzilla. They drop mines in its mouth, blow it up. They shoot it with every kind of ammo. They have like the ships just open with their cannons, and Godzilla regenerates, and there's nothing they can do. And so the whole movie's hatching plans on how to kill Godzilla, what they can do to kill Godzilla, and Zilla just coming in and destroying everything. But it's also what Godzilla is supposed to be, which is commentary on the nuclear age and the consequences of war,
right.
and things like survivor's guilt, and PTSD and the horrors of war that are all wrapped into Godzilla and its destruction of this man's life, basically, because Shikishima just keeps finding himself and his loved ones in the pathway of Godzilla, this unstoppable menace that's there to do nothing but kill and destroy. But of course, he befriends like scientists and these people, and they're all hatching these ideas. And eventually he has to prove himself as a hero of Japan, the kamikaze he was supposed to be, and stuff like that.
Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not. In like a final battle setup with Godzilla and stuff. It's great. I liked the design of Godzilla. I like the way that the nuclear breath, when the nuke breath hits something, it is like a nuke going off.
I was like, why don't I have our Godzilla out? Yeah, here we go.
Everything about it is Toho Godzilla. It's the way it's supposed to be. And you watch this and you're like, yes, this is Godzilla. This is the way that Godzilla's supposed to be. Everything I liked when I was growing up. How all the classic movies are. And then you see the trailer for Godzilla X Kong. Thanks
for the sub.
And you're like, this is not what I want Godzilla to be. So it's wild that you get to have real Toho Godzilla at the same time that you have the legendary studio doing Godzilla. But
that's cool.
Everything about this one was fantastic, and I had a great time. It is very slow paced. If you're not used to like the slower moving classic Godzilla movies,
or just movies,
yeah. But when Godzilla's on screen, it's great.
Well, it makes me really sad because I have a Godzilla pinball machine on order, and it's not here. I thought it was going to be here sometime in the next couple of weeks. It would have been perfect for right now to just be able to play that and have the movie. And
and in the post-war setting, because original Godzilla came out in early mid-50s, right? Like 54 or something like that. And it's Japan rebuilding in the nuclear age and all that. But this one takes place like right then. People are still rebuilding Tokyo throughout the whole movie, and just as Tokyo gets rebuilt, or like the borough of Ginza, which is like untouched by the war, is wiped off the planet by Godzilla. It's good. I definitely recommend it. It's, if you've never seen classic Godzillas, if you don't feel like getting on Crackle and watching the old Godzilla movies, this is a great introduction to the monster and what those movies are supposed to be, and something you'll realize watching this Toho Godzilla, unlike things like the legendary movies or the much maligned 2000 Matthew Broderick Godzilla, is that the human characters in this don't suck, right?
Oh God,
they're actually interesting people, and they're not. They're the focus, but they're not, because Godzilla's just as much there as they're supposed to be. But it's not like the first legendary one with Scarlet Witch chick and Silver Quicksilver dude. It sucked. No one wanted. They kill Bryan Cranston at the beginning, and then they follow Ding Dong and Dingette, and it's no one wants it. But in this one, the human characters do not annoy you.
Yeah, you want another story.
They're there for a reason. They're there for a purpose, and the whole point of Godzilla is that it's the embodiment of the war that's haunting this man.
Yeah, you use, and that's where good storytelling, especially in science fiction and fantasy and horror, it's like you use something fantastic to be a reflection of something that we face, and giving, and hopefully giving people a different perspective to maybe change their thoughts and their ideologies. But in Twitch and Facebook, Patrick Henry said Godzilla is the best movie he's seen all year. Dina on Twitch says my favorite film this year as well. So
singing
obsessed with
praises.
it.
Yeah, when she when the OG theme comes in, the first time you hear the OG theme, because you don't hear it the first time or two you see Godzilla, but when Godzilla comes in and it's like, oh no, there goes Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get the Godzilla theme, and it's like you're there, and it's exciting, and it brings you in. Dina says the pacing was fine because she was invested in the story. Yeah, it's one of those things. Part of that, and I know we've talked about it, silence in scenes, open or dead space in scenes. All these are ways to help tell a story, and a lot of people don't do that right anymore. So something like this is done the way it's supposed to.
All right on. Well, it's in theaters right now in just over 2,300 theaters nationwide. So if it's in a theater near you, you should check it out. I assume because there are several light, like this month is a little light in big releases, that it might actually get, since it is doing pretty well, and for especially for being a foreign language film, it might open up into some more theaters next week. So take a look for your local listings and check that one out. All right. Well, speaking of movies that people have paid to see, we're going to do the top 10 movie breakdown. That's what we do, the box office reports, the last segment of the show. If you have stuck around with us this long, we thank you. But we're going to give you the top 10 movies in America, domestic totals. We'll pepper in some worldwide stuff here and there. But Jake's going to start with number 10, work his way down to number 1, telling you what you guys spent your money on, which will give us predictions of the future of what we can see in the horizons.
Yeah. So coming in at number 10, the one that just had its sequel announced, Thanksgiving, $2.6 million brought in by it. It only cost like 15, I think is what they had said.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
3 weeks out, has brought in $28.3 million. So made plenty of money. They're happy with it because it made like 10.3 its opening week, and they're like, sequel. Let's do it.
I mean, and it didn't do a huge worldwide gross because, I mean, Thanksgiving's an American holiday, but it made some cash because it's a horror movie.
It made its money back and then doubled it. So,
so it's like $36 million total so far.
Yeah, not bad there. And then opening at the number 9 spot, Silent Night, $3 million for it. I don't think there was enough trailers.
It was also only in 1,800 theaters.
Yeah.
So fairly limited.
Yeah, so that one brought in its $3 million. We'll see where that one goes. Also opening lower on the list, The Shift, $4.3 million brought in by that one. That's one that we talked about last week. It's like weird Christian movie with Neil McDonough being a butthole because he doesn't have to act when he does that. But he's played some great characters before, but he's perfect at being a butthole. And then opening at number...
Speaking of Neil McDonough, you know that movie that I worked on with Neil McDonough was like number 10 on Netflix last week.
Really?
Yeah. It was. I saw that and I was like, Gah! And had a little PTSD flashback.
And then another one opening in the top 10, number 7, Animal, the Hindi movie. That was released just under $6.5 million brought in by that one in the U.S. So not so bad. If I have time this week, I still want to see it. I want to see it, but they've been hitting Netflix pretty quick.
Yep.
So because Netflix has that deal with all the Indian studios there. And then coming in at number 6 and its second week out, dropping from the number 2 spot. Big dip for this one. Napoleon, $7.27 million for it, 45.9 in the U.S. It's brought in $137 million across the globe. So not too bad for that. I know it's not what they want to see, but we've talked about that. It was also done by like Apple Studios. I think they're just happy to have like a big Ridley Scott movie out there.
Oh, yeah.
And then coming in at the 5th spot, Wish in its second week out, 7.7 brought in by that one, $42.25 million for Disney's new movie.
But they also wished it was making more.
Yeah, no, they are. $82 million across the globe for that one.
But you know, like we were saying, Disney's not about just churning money out, movies out there to make money. It's about really good storytelling.
That's another one that I saw some small chatter on the internet, but never like any trailers for it until like 2 days before it came out. Disney was like, "Oh shit, yeah, we have a movie coming out," and everyone's like, "What, really?" Huh? But yeah, with the no family offerings coming out this week, things like that tend to stick around a little bit.
Yep.
But
and holiday.
It does have some competition from the other family movie that's out. Holding tight at the number 4 spot, Trolls Band Together. $7.8 million brought in by that one. 75 in the U.S. and it's 3 weeks out. And you know, when I was at the movie theater last night, they had a Poppy.
A Poppy?
Yeah, the troll, the main girl troll.
Is her name Poppy?
Yeah, her name's Poppy.
Okay.
Played by Anna Kendrick's character. So that was one of the 8 collectibles up on the concession stand with the Beyonce tub and the 2 or 3 other little toy things that they had going on.
I see.
Yeah. So that's out there if you want that to go with your popcorn. But then another opening in the top 10, Godzilla -1, $11.4 million in the 3rd spot. Not bad for that, like you said, being a Japanese language film. 34.5 brought in by across the globe, and I'm pretty sure that I saw that its budget was also $15 million.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I know it wasn't a lot for a movie of that caliber.
For how good Godzilla looked and some of the special effects and stuff, not bad.
As Dina pointed out on Twitch just now in the comments, she says Godzilla is the most successful live-action Japanese feature in America ever. Wow. The per-theater average is higher than Hunger Games, which is true. The per-theater average, it would have put it in the number 2 spot if you were going by that. Oh, the budget was $5 million, according to Dina.
I don't know if that exclamation.
That has to be 15.
I think it's supposed to be 15.
I was like, whoa, yeah. there's no way.
Which is crazy that you can get that good of a movie from that low of a budget. The special effects, you're not going to look at it and be like, oh, that Navy ship looks like garbage, or those tanks look like trash, or this town looks like crap, or Godzilla looks god-awful. It all looked I had no negative critique on how anything looked in the movie. They made the most.
That's awesome.
Out of that $15 million. And then at the number 2 spot, dropping from the top spot, Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, 14 million brought in by that one, 20 million in the 120 million in the U.S., 243 across the globe. That's one of those where no one expected it to make anything. And I think
it's just like, I feel like people were just like, well, I'll see it. It's more
well, that
Hunger
Snow
Games.
White chick didn't help because she's trying to tank everything that she's in, right? Whatever her name is, Rachel.
Yes.
Zell.
That one.
Yeah. But coming in, opening at the top spot, another pop star movie, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce.
Not quite the Taylor Swift opening that I think maybe Beyonce was hoping for, but it did take the number 1 spot and showing
nearly
again.
$22 million. The next real movie down was 7 million, almost 8 million less than that. It's crazy that Beyonce's like, movie, and everyone's like, okay. Here's $22 million.
We're gonna start seeing so many of those, man. It's like, and it's funny because like the Spice Girls, they were just like, well, let's make a movie when they could have just did a concert. They went through all the problems and troubles of trying to make a narrative when all they had to do was spice up the life on stage.
Yeah, well, that's like, I feel like this is like the where it's gone from, they're like, biopics about a band, but we're gonna lie about everything, So you have like the Queen one, Bohemian Rhapsody, right? And
Rocket Man, and
and then you
Elvis.
have movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, soundtrack the movie, right? So you have these movies that no one really cares about the movie. They don't care if you lie to them about what really happened. The only thing they're there for is they want to listen to music, which they could do on the radio without going to a movie theater. So Taylor Swift and this, they're just like, well, what if we give them the music? Because no one cares about the movie.
So they can go with their friends and, go,
Turns out it makes all the money. Why did Prince put so much work into the story of Purple Rain and making a good movie?
He should have just washed those troubles away in the waters of Lake Minnetonka and just played music on stage. Just do that.
Yeah.
But also still have more stay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, more stay's the best.
Gotta have more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have more stay.
So, yeah, I guess, pop star ladies just making all the big money at the box office.
Well, all right, guys. Well, that's the box office, and that's the show. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever it is you get your podcasts from. If you want to check out the live version of this and kind of understand what all this comments we've been talking about, or view them, or even participate in your own, you can watch us every week, Monday nights, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube.
I was going to point out one thing before we leave. Dina pointed out that Yamazaki made his career on special effects. Yeah, the guy that did Godzilla -1 at the end of it, which is a pretty incredible credit to have, directed, written, and special effects by.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
That is pretty dope. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys next week. We'll probably watch some movies, and we'll probably talk about them with you. So if you want to jump in the Discord, it's there somewhere in the comments and on our descriptions of our channels. You can find it. It's our Discord. I don't have the link handy, but you can find it. And we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
Ta-ta.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.